Hi all, happy Wednesday. Hope everybody's doing good. Oh my goodness, you guys, I've had so much fun with this little mini sew along. It's just been a blast to make up a smaller project with you guys. So I hope you're having a good week. My name is Bev McCullough and from Flamingo Toes, and I'm streaming live right now to Facebook in my Facebook group, the Flamingo Toes Stitch and Share Club, and to my YouTube channel at the same time. You can watch wherever you'd like. So I hope that you guys have had fun with this. It's been really fun for me to do something a little bit smaller. Of course, you guys know I love to add in embroidery with things, so hopefully you're feeling a little more confident about those embroidery stitches. So it's been so fun. So this is what we started with. This is from my book, Make It Mini. Whoa, that's cool. So this is the Spring Flowers quilt from Make It Mini. And it's got cute little flower blocks, and there's a little embroidered heart in the center. And so it wasn't like you had to use any kind of specific, I'll hold it up a little bit more. This was in my Stardust fabric collection, and it wasn't like you had to use any specific fabrics, or you could do whatever you wanted in the center of your block. Some people changed it out and did just a fabric like fussy cutting image, or different embroideries, and then some of you went ahead and stitched the heart in different colorways, and so that's been really fun. I've had a blast seeing your versions. So I decided I wanted another fall mini quilt, so I made up mine in fall fabrics, and this is how mine turned out. I'll hold it up so you can see it a little bit better. So this is my little fall Spring Flowers quilt, and we're going to talk tonight about putting these quilts together. I have some tips for you on trimming embroidery that you can use for any embroidery project that you're putting in a quilt, and then we're going to talk about quilting and how I quilted both of these, some ideas for quilting and finishing and all that kind of stuff. So not a super long video tonight. I'm not going to keep you a really long time, but I do want to give you some tips on trimming and just, finishing things up. So I'm excited to show you guys that stuff. So let's see who's here. We're live on Facebook tonight. We have Allison and Christine. Hey, everybody. And everybody's on YouTube tonight. I love it. It's fun to change things up. So we have Molly and Dolores, Teresa, Sari's here. Lisa, let's see. Hi, Lisa. Christine's here from Colorado. Marcia's here from Michigan. Pam's here. Hi, Pam. And Teresa said, woohoo, she's on time. Yay. Oh, Wendy's over on Facebook. Hey, Wendy. Roxana. Oh my gosh. Lindy's here. Deborah. Hi, everybody. Janice Carol's here from Arizona. Is it nice in Arizona yet? I feel like maybe not yet. Well, nice as in like is it below the 90s in Arizona yet, Janice? Christine asked if I will be at Quilt Market this year. I will not, Christine. I am joining in with Riley Blake's virtual Quilt Market, which will be the second week in November, and I will post about that so that you guys will get the whole scoop. In fact, I'll share a link to that Facebook group. It's held in a Facebook group. It's called RBD Virtual Market. Anybody can come. You guys are welcome to come, and I will be showing off 2 fabric collections that are coming out next year. So if you want to sneak peek at all the fun new fabric collections that are coming out from Riley Blake in the next 6 months, well, it's fabrics and notions and all kinds of stuff. I definitely recommend jumping into that group. I will post about it in my Facebook group this week, so you guys can find that link. If you have gone to RBD Virtual Market in the past, that it's all in the same group, so you'll already be in the right place. But I will be doing 2 live videos showing new fabric collections that are coming out next year, and I really can't wait for you guys to see them. Do you guys have any guesses? Any guesses as to what's coming? Some of you might already know. I don't know. We'll see what you guys think. Christine, are you going to market? Oh, I'm sorry. I won't be there. Allison says it's in the 70s in Arizona today. Yay, that's awesome. And Laura's here. Hey, Laura. Oh, Janice says she's in the mountains and you are down to freezing. Oh my goodness, that's awesome. Teresa said, thank you for teaching her embroidery. This is her first time trying. Oh, Teresa, that makes me so happy. I hope you feel successful. I have videos for each of the stitches that we've done in a playlist on YouTube. It's called Embroidery Basics. I think that's what it's called, but it's the embroidery stitch tutorials. So if you want a little bit more info and more visuals for each stitch that I did, I know we kind of did them fast in this so long. So if you want more info on any of those, you can check out that playlist, and it has separate videos for each stitch. So you can check all those out. Let's see. Pam says she hasn't started yet, finishing a few little quilts for Christmas first. Oh, and your iron conked out today. Oh, that's very sad, Pam. I hate that. But it's very smart of you to get your Christmas stuff done so early. I love it. Lindy says, I hope it has pink. Lindy, I can tell you that one of them does have pink. I don't know if that helps at all. No one has guessed yet. Any guesses? Okay. Let's see. Shall we talk about things? What do you guys want to talk about? Okay, let's talk about giveaways. So last week, I have a giveaway every week, and sometimes it's a bigger giveaway than others. This one was kind of a big one last week with, so every week I have a little giveaway, and it's my way of saying thank you guys for tuning in and for hanging out with me. I know you guys have a lot of choices for designers and people to sew along with, and oh my gosh, there's just a billion sew-alongs out there, aren't there? So I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me and joining in with my projects. So this is just my way of saying thank you. And the giveaways are super easy to enter. All you have to do is leave a comment, whether you're watching live or later in the week, whether you're watching on YouTube or Facebook. I want to give you as many options as possible. So you just leave your comment, that's your entry, and I draw the winner the next week from the commenters. So this last week I pulled from my prize box six 5-inch stackers for you guys. So I have Mackinac Island from Minnick and Simpson. This one is from a few years ago, a couple years ago. I wish they told the year on the collection, but this is just darling, you guys. You've probably seen this collection. I really like this print. Let me see. I really like that print right there, that plaid with the floral. Ooh, that's cute. Okay, so Mackinac Island. We don't have to look at every single print in every charm pack. This is a Robert Kaufman. It's Elizabeth Hartman collection. Terrarium. So this is a 5-inch stackers of, I guess they are charm packs. No, wait, what does Robert call them? Charm squares. I don't know. This is a 5-inch stacker from Riley Blake. It's called Christmas Delivery. So it's a really cute one from a couple years ago. There's little Christmas trucks and snowflakes and all kinds of things. This is a Wyndham one from Carrie Bloomston. And it has, what is this one called? Wonder. So this one has butterflies. It has, bicycles. Oh, I love that. Bicycles and butterflies and some cute little geometric prints, stars. This is really fun. I love the colors, and it's so bright. Almost kind of batik-ish, but maybe not. These last two are Riley Blake. Also, this is Fleur from Sedef. This is a beautiful collection, you guys. It's a little bit older as well. All these are at least a couple years old. So Fleur is got these beautiful colors and big flowers, geometric prints. It's really one of my favorites of hers. And then we have Tea with Bee from Catherine Linnaeus. Gorgeous tea-inspired collection with giant florals. I love her big florals. Teacups. There's a honeycomb print and some bees. Oh, we love bees around here. Oh, so cute, you guys. So Tea with Bee. So we have 6 5-inch stackers, plenty of projects for you. You could grab, make it mini, and make up a lot of projects in there. And our winner from last week is Pam Ward. Pam, I know you're here because I saw your name earlier. It's not focusing right now. I need to check and see at my camera settings. But Pam, you're our winner for the week. Yay! So Pam, send me an email, bev@flamingotoes.com with your mailing address, and I will get that out in the mail to you. So congratulations. Okay, so for you, I have this week some more fun things because this is our last week together. No, it's not really, but this is our last week of the sew-along. So I wanted you guys to have some fun things. This is a very loud package. I'm glad they changed the packaging for the 10-inch stackers and the 5-inch stackers because this is extremely loud in videos. I know they did it just for me. So let's see. Oh wait, y'all, I gotta get rid of this little ickiness that's on. We've had some ickiness in our occasional videos this week. So we're just gonna get rid of that. Sorry about that. Connie says she loves Tea with B. Isn't it such a great collection? So cute. Oh, Pam's here. Yay, Pam. Okay, so this is Amy Smart's collection, Notting Hill. It's one of my favorites ever from her, and it is beautiful, you guys. You can see from the front that it has these really pretty navy and pink florals, and then I'll kind of flip this around. I'm just going to open it. You don't mind, right? The winner. And I'm going to pull out this the paper that has all the little prints on it. Well, it's not coming out very well, but there we go. Now you can kind of see a little bit better. It's got florals, it's got plaids and polka dots, a couple different sizes of florals, and it has some like almost watercolor drawn sketches of different scenes in England and houses, and oh, it's beautiful, you guys. Oh, there's tiny British flags too. She has another collection that will actually, I believe, be shown at Market that's coming out called Portsmouth, and it is just beautiful. It's soft, almost patriotic colors. So soft red, soft blues, kind of a very watercolor feel, florals. It's really stunning, you guys. So anyway, Notting Hill, 10-inch stacker of that. I have 6 okay, let's see what these are. B cross stitch fat quarter bundles. They're fat quarters. 6 fat quarters in a bundle from Lori Holt. You guys, I love B cross stitch as a basic. It's so good. It's perfect for doing embroidery on because there's just a little bit of stitching on there. You can kind of see how far apart they are. So it makes for a really interesting background without taking anything away from what you're stitching on it or anything like that. In fact, I used B cross stitch as a background in one of the projects in the book, and it was the vintage bouquet. So I pieced together this little vase, and I stitched the florals all on, so the vase is Stardust, but the background of the rest of the mini quilt is B cross stitch, and it's just really, really fun. So you get 6 fat quarters, the 10-inch stacker. I have 2 of my needle minders for you guys because you guys know that a needle minder is really nice. It makes it super easy to keep track of your pins. In fact, I have one over here that I used last week, and it's just really handy for holding your needles when you're not stitching because it's so strong and they really don't come off. And I picked out 2 fall ones for you guys. So I have my little floral pumpkin, and then I have my vintage truck that is full of pumpkins, and it has a cute little star and a pennant on it. So if you already have these and you're the winner next week, you can pick 2 different ones. And since you're all embroidery experts now, I thought I would give you also a copy of my first embroidery book, Retro Stitchery. So this came out a couple years ago before Make It Mini, and this one is a lot of embroidery projects. Some are just embroidery alone, some are other projects as well. So there's like a tea towel, there's a cute zipper bag, and all kinds of fun things, and there's instructions for everything. So if there's a zipper bag in there, I give you instructions for the zipper bag as well as the cute little embroidery on there. So that is this week's prize pack. And because we're not going to have a video next Wednesday night, I'm going to announce the winner for this at my video on Monday afternoon. So if you're commenting, come Monday and see if you're the winner. It really does help me if you guys check and make sure if you won, check the winner the following week to see if you are a winner, because it's really hard for me to hunt down winners otherwise. So definitely leave a comment on today's video if you would like to be entered. And speaking of next Monday's video, we're now all done with the Daisy a Day sew along. That was this big quilt behind me. So for the rest of the year, we're going to do small projects in our videos. So I'm going to have some gift ideas. We're going to do some little things like that. I'm still planning that all out. But next Monday, we're going to get some fabric sneak peeks. So I'm going to show you guys some fabric that is hitting stores now and coming soon. So there's a collection by Amanda Niederhauser called Leafy Keen, and one from Christopher Thompson called Blue Jean. And then there's one from Gracie Larson called Wild and Free. And then I have a few pieces of fabric from Jennifer Long from her Forest Friends collection. So I'm going to show you those, and then we're going to just kind of have a blast looking at fabric and fun things coming up. So definitely come to Monday's video and hang out with me, and we'll ooh and ah over all the pretty fabrics. I think you guys are going to love them. They are very, very good. Dawn, you're in the car watching. Oh my goodness. And Cece's here. Oh, Dawn. Oh, it's okay. You didn't miss anything. Brenda said, love the giveaways. I'm glad, Brenda. And Wendy saw previews of Portsmouth, and it's beautiful. It is gorgeous, Wendy. I'm so glad. Erin asked if I will be having another sew along with Make It Mini. Yes, I will. I don't think we're going to do that this year because kind of everybody's into holiday mode. But we will do one in January. So, and I think we'll probably have two sew-alongs going at the same time in January because we're going to do the Country Daisies sew-along. So our next sew-along from Make It Mini, and I hope you guys are excited about this one. I'm really excited about it, is we are going to make up the Walking in Sunshine quilt. So we're going to do that in January. And it's going to be really fun. If you haven't worked with curves before, this is a great project to start with because they're very gentle curves, super beginner friendly. We're going to go over how to put this together. There's I'm going to have tips for you guys, and then we're going to do the embroidery. And one of the best things about this quilt is even though there's curves, there's not a lot of matching up your curves. So there's quite a bit of forgiveness there. So I hope you guys are excited about that. We'll do that in January. I'll post in the group when those dates are scheduled, and we'll do that one together. It'll be a fun one. It'll be short like this one because we'll talk about the blocks 1 week and we'll kind of sew, and then the next week, let's do 2 weeks of stitching. We'll do 2 weeks of stitching, just like we did with this one. And then we'll do assembly the week after that. So it'll be really fun. All right, you guys, this is going to be a blast. I'm excited. Are you ready to talk about, oh, yay, are you excited? Wendy's excited. Allison, yay. Oh, and Janice said, she said, please do the Walking on Sunshine one. Well, that worked out perfectly. Yay. Oh, and Teresa likes needle minders. They can be used for all sorts of things, and she wears them for decorations on her shirts. Hey, oh, that's very good. I like to do that too sometimes. Lisa said that she just received her book, Make It Mini, in the mail, and her new needle minder. So excited to start. Oh, I'm so glad. Yay. You guys are the best. Okay, so you ready to talk about tips? Let's talk about tips. So, in the book, the instructions are to have a larger piece of fabric that you embroider on, and then to get ready to assemble it, you trim down the piece. The reason we do that is, one, when you're working with a piece that's this big, it kind of helps to have your fabric a little bit larger to have in a hoop, then you're not working with like a really tiny, if you cut this 6.5 inches and you embroider it, sometimes that can get stretched out. It's in a hoop. It's just a lot more forgiving. Just like when you do a quilt block and trim it down, it's a lot more forgiving with embroidery to stitch out your piece and then trim it down. So that's what we're doing here. But that can be really stressful because you have spent however many hours trimming your embroidery or making your embroidery, stitching it out, and then you trim it. And so you're cutting off, and I will confess I have made mistakes trimming, but don't let that freak you out. So I'm going to give you some tips on how to find the center of your project and trim it down, and then we're going to talk about quilting. So let me change my camera here. So this is a pretend piece of embroidery. I did not stitch this out. I did not make 2 of these because I just didn't have time, and I'm sorry about that. But we're going to pretend that this is already embroidered. So this is our little heart design. This is an 8-inch square, just like what we stitched out. So we need to get this down to 6.5 inches. So I have a couple tips for you. One, I do keep on hand, and I keep it on hand because I do like the size of it for block trimming. There's just a lot of 6.5 inch blocks. So I do have a Creative Grids rulers. Those are my favorite kinds of rulers. They have markings that are on the inch on one side and on the 1.5, 2.5, so 1/2 inch on the other side, which makes it kind of nice if you're, depending upon what size you're marking. I like the diagonal line because I use that a lot when I'm doing half square triangles or blind geese or things like that. And I like that on the back, I don't know if you can, you can see them. There are little, I don't know, they're not rubber, but there's some sort of texture that's all the way around, and then little spots that make it not slip, so it's anti-slip. So I do use this ruler. Don't feel like you have to go out and buy a ruler. I'm just kind of giving you tips, right? So I know rulers are not inexpensive. So there's a couple ways that you can do this. One is you can, if you have a 6.5 inch and you're trimming to 6.5 inch, you can put your ruler on your piece and use your stitching as a guide and kind of just eyeball it a little bit. So you want it in the center, and so I've got about 1 inch between the edge of the embroidery and the edge of my ruler, and 1 inch over here, and then I would eyeball it here. This is about 1 inch. This is over 1 inch, so I would kind of come down. So you can do it that way. But to make it even easier, I like to do a little finger pressing. So I would fold my embroidery piece, kind of line up where my stitching is, and just do like a little finger press here in the center, and do the same thing going the other direction. This one needs to go up here, and do a little finger press that direction as well. So it's kind of, I guess you can kind of see I've got a finger pressed crease in the center of my heart. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I wouldn't do this like crazy strong, but I'm trying to do it strong so you guys can actually see it. Don't do it as strong as I'm doing it because you're just going to have to press that back out. Hey Helen, I'm glad you're here. But you're going to have to press this back out. So don't go crazy with your finger pressing. But now you have the halfway mark on your heart horizontally and vertically. So so now it's time to do a little bit of math. We want to trim our block up to 6.5 inches. So we're going to find the halfway point of 6.5 inches on our ruler, and that for 6.5 inches is 3.25 inches. So, and all that is you take the 6.5 and divide by 2. And I hope that doesn't feel, I am not good at math, y'all, so that's if you're like me, sometimes it helps to have it spelled out. So what you're going to do is you're going to find the 3.25, and this lovely little ruler, I don't know if you can see, I'll put my hand under it. This lovely little ruler has a mark at 3 1/4 that goes all the way down the ruler horizontally and vertically, and there is actually a little circle here in the center. So we are going to put that little circle on the center of our finger pressed line. Let's see. Now, I'm going to do this on my video because I would never do this with a marking pen. You can use an erasable marking pen, but I'm not going to stitch that out, but now you can see it. So to make that even easier for you, I am going to line up my little circle here on that finger press line. Please don't draw on the center of your embroidery. And then you're going to trim it off. So that gives you kind of that double check point of making sure you're trimming accurately. You can also kind of just triple check your work. You've got it in the center. You do have the same amount of space after you're stitching on each side, and same with the top and bottom. It's about 1 1/4 top and bottom. So there's no, like, you can't check too many times that your ruler is in the right place. You can't put the fabric back if you trim it off and your design isn't centered. So once I have double, tripled, quadruple checked, then I go ahead and trim. I do 2 sides at once, but you don't have to do this. It just saves a little bit of time. Trim it off, and then you would treat it, when you sew it into your piece, just like any other block. Now it is 6 1/2 inches, and that's the size of our other little blocks, and it sews in just perfectly with the others. Now, if you have found that your blocks measure a little bit off, which is totally fine, trim your embroidery piece to that size, because this is your quilt. It doesn't have to match my quilt in size. So if you're coming in at 6 1/4, trim this to 6 1/4. So just keep that in mind with your block size, okay? So that is, Dawn likes creative grid rulers. So this same method works even if you're doing you've got a 12-inch ruler. You're still going to trim it to 6 1/2 inches. So you're still going to use the 3 1/4 horizontal and 3 1/4 vertical lines. So that doesn't matter what size ruler you're going to use. And if anybody has questions, Dolores says there's a lot of math in quilting. I hear you, Dolores. That's not my favorite part. So that is my tips on trimming. If you guys have any more questions about that, let me know. Now we're going to talk about quilting. So I pieced together my whole quilt, and then I put it on my long arm regalia, and I quilted it. And I wanted to try something. I am going to talk about 2 different ways. So let me talk about the one that's in the book first. So the one that's in the book, oops, I'm sorry about that. That was the mic, and I hope that didn't break your ears. Sorry, you guys. Okay, we're going to stop throwing the mic around. Okay, so in the book, I quilted this on my machine. I did not, on my regular home sewing machine, I did not have my regalia yet. And what I did on this one is I did like a crosshatch pattern. They're not exactly all the same, so it's kind of like a 1/2 inch and then 1 inch, and so there's a little bit of space between each one. And I did go ahead and use a ruler with these. Like, I marked them with my big 6 1/2 inch by 24 inch ruler and a disappearing ink pen, and I drew out my lines and I stitched it out on my home sewing machine. And for this one, as I came to each, so on this one I did use the Aurifil monofilament thread. You don't have to do that. I did not use monofilament on the one I just made, so I'll show you the difference there. But it does, if you do have it, it does make it so that it really blends in with your fabrics. You can see the quilting lines, but you can't see the thread. So that's kind of an advantage to using the monofilament thread if you are on your home machine. And I did stop and start my quilting around my heart. So I stitched up to it I did a little back stitch, and then I cut my threads, and then I started here, did a little back stitch, and then did that. The other thing you can do is leave long thread ends and pull them to the back and knot them. I don't like taking the extra time to do that, especially if I'm working with monofilament thread. That's not my idea of a good time. So I just did a quick little like back locking stitch around here. So I did not stitch over my embroidery for this one that's in the book. I did stop and start through, I went through the heart, but I didn't stitch over the embroidery. I wanted to see what would happen if you did though. So with the regalia, I went ahead and quilted this. You can see a little bit more the thread quilting on here. So kind of that's the difference between using a regular thread and a monofilament thread. I still like the look of it because I like these little leaves. Lindy, I did not put that in the bobbin also. You don't need to put it in the bobbin. You just put it on the top and use regular thread in the bobbin. I just use my regular 50 weight Orfill in the bottom. And you can see on the back that, well, it kind of blended, but that is actually white thread on the back of the blue. But really, a lot of the times with this quilting, you have to get right up on it to see even the thread colors. So I wouldn't stress too much about that. So I did pick like a leafy design. I made it sort of smallish because this is a mini quilt. So I felt like I could bring down the size of the design a little bit. And it's called netting. It's one of my favorites because there's a lot of movement in it, but it isn't, I don't know, it doesn't hold you to one particular style of quilt or anything like that. So that is this quilt, the design. And I did go ahead and stitch over my embroidery, which you guys can see. I'll hold it up to it a little bit. What I did was I wanted to see, one, how well it would do because I knew I could take it out if there was a problem. But I thought that stitching over it would also give the embroidery a little bit more stability, that it would last longer. You know, if you're using it as a table topper and there's stitching over it, one, you have to look pretty close to see it. Even at this distance, it's not super easy to see on the screen. But I will tell you that I slowed so I have the automatic computer on the machine and I slowed it way down. So when I was stitching like this middle section, there were 2 passes here. I had it down at like, I don't know what the number means, but it was down at like 20 when normally I stitch on that machine at more like 80. So it was slowed down very slow so that when it would go over these, it wasn't going really fast and it didn't catch any threads. I didn't have any problem with it pulling any of the embroidery. I'm going to get closer here so you guys can see. So you can see that it is stitched over. Let me see if it'll focus. There we go. It is stitched over, but I don't feel like it takes away from it. I feel like it's just kind of part of the design and part of the quilting with it. So you let me know what you guys think of the stitching over the embroidery. I don't feel like it really takes away from it because like I said, you have to be, that is a close-up camera and I had the thing 4 inches away from it for you to even see the threads. You can see them a little bit here, especially now that you know they're there, especially on these darker ones. But, you know, from far away, I don't think anybody but those of us that made it would even notice that it was stitched over. So let me know your thoughts on that. You could, on a long arm, if you slowed it way down, you could stop and start it just like you do on a home machine. You know, you could just it would just take a little bit of extra time to, you know, run your needle down to the next part past it. But I feel like this worked really well and I will probably do this again in the future. For me, it doesn't take away from the embroidery. So let me know what you guys think of it. Janice says no, she loves it and it doesn't take away from it at all. Oh, I'm so glad. Jeanette over on YouTube said, if you quilt over your design, does that make it more sturdy so you could wash it? I feel like that it would, especially on these woven roses. I mean, they're basically cemented down now, right? Like, I don't know, this one still has a little bit of looseness because this leaf went kind of onto it and then off of it. definitely the French knots, these woven roses really had a leaf that went right through the center of them. So I think these guys would be fine. I would still, anything with embroidery on it that you've done yourself, you want it to last as long as possible. So I still feel like a hand wash would probably be safest, just because once it's quilted and, you know, there's no guarantee that it isn't going to come unraveled with these woven roses. Now you could do some extra stitching, especially if you got out like a monofilament thread and did some more like locking stitches to hold it in place a little bit more. But yeah, I do feel like it would add extra stability and give it more durability. Okay, so Jeanette says she liked them both, but she liked the first one better. Okay, so you like it not going over the top of the embroidery. That's great, Jeanette. And Dolores thinks it would make it more stable too. Okay. Helen asked what monofilament brand size do I use? Let's see. I don't know the size. I'm looking over here at my thread. It is the Aurifil monofilament. I have the clear. They have two shades of a monofilament. One is like a whitish clear and the other one is like a black. I really don't ever, I have both, but I never find a use for the black, and I think it only comes in one weight. So as far as I'm aware, the Aurifil monofilament is just one. I use it on my machine. I don't use it on my long arm. I don't know if you can. I've never tried that. So if somebody has a long arm and they know more about that kind of thing, feel free to chime in, but I'm not an expert on monofilament and long arms. I'm not an expert on long arms at all. So anyway, these are my tips for quilting. So after quilting, I just finished this out just like a regular quilt. All the instructions are in here in the book as far as going ahead and binding just like normal and everything like that. So you finish it out just like you would a normal mini quilt. And so I love how fast they are too, and they take so much less time to quilt too, which I love. I did this one in just a little bit of time, so it worked out really great. And then once I had done the embroidery area, I bumped back up my speed and jammed through the rest, and it was really fast. So anyway, I hope that helps. If you guys ever have questions about quilting with embroidery or any kind of finishing with embroidery, I'm always happy to help, and you can always send me an email. Oh, Dawn says she likes to stitch over it to preserve the embroidery. That's great, Dawn. Oh, and Laura says she doesn't think it takes away from it all. Oh, good. I'm so glad. All right, you guys, this has been super fun. I will tell you, so Monday I told you that we're going to go over new fabric collections that are hitting stores now, but we're also going to have a little question and answer because we had several people asking questions on Monday's video and we just got to chatting and we had to get going on the stuff. So if you have something you've been wanting to ask me, now is the time to ask it. And if you don't, that's totally fine. But if you have a question you want me to answer, I will be doing a little question and answer while we're going through the fabrics on Monday. So if there's something that you've been wanting to know, on Monday somebody asked where flamingo toes came from. And I also have had a couple other people email in questions that I'm going to answer on Monday. So if you want to, you can leave questions on today's video or you can email me and then tune in on Monday and I will do my best to answer them. So, and it can be anything. You guys can ask about me, you can ask about the business, you can, whatever fabric, whatever you want to ask about. I'm happy to answer. I'm an open book. So anyway, thanks so much for tuning in, you guys. Thanks for stitching along with me. I hope this has given you kind of an indication that you can really add a lot of texture to your quilt projects with embroidery and that it's not scary. And we're going to do more make it mini projects together. So we'll do that Walking on Sunshine in January. I'll post a date for that in the next week or so that you can get it on your calendars. And then we're also going to do, you guys, I forgot to bring a tea in with me. I realized when the countdown was going on, it was almost over. And so it's sitting out there. I made it on the counter and it's sitting out there. I miss it. Anyway, we're going to do my Country Daisies quilt pattern in January as well. So that is a really cute sampler style quilt that is made up in daisy fields. There are shops that have kitted up that quilt And if you are interested in it, I highly recommend you buy it now, because I don't know how much they'll still be available in January. You know, shops don't have a whole lot of kits. So definitely check that out if you are wanting to sew along with us for a big quilt in January, which I'm really excited about. I think these will be fun projects to do in January before we start a new fabric collection sew along that'll be like in April or so. There's going to be lots of fun going on. It's going to be great. Riley Blake's doing another RBD block challenge. We're just going to have a really fun time. But before we get to all that, we're going to do holiday projects and gift ideas and things like that. So definitely still tune in on Monday videos. I hope you guys have enjoyed the Wednesday night videos. We'll go back to those in January when we do the Walking on Sunshine sew along. So it'll be really fun, and we'll be able to hang out on Wednesday nights too. But until then, through the holidays, just on Mondays. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Thanks so much for tuning in. Don't forget to send me questions. And I will see you on Monday. Thanks so much, everybody.